Hey, Redcasters, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. Go Big Red.
Welcome to the Go Big Redcast, the Husker Fan Sports Show.
Welcome to the Go Big Redcast. I'm your host, Honke.
Let's go, buddy.
How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing good, man. A victory celebration week. We got a little film breakdown, and it's Colorado week. We can finally all focus on the Colorado game, including the coaches and the players, as opposed to last week where we had jumped over UTEP, and rightfully so, quite frankly. See, it pays off. I totally overlooked them. Look at that. Look at that. No penalties whatsoever. I couldn't have been more right to overlook a team.
Matt, don't overlook people.
I will if I want, and I did. And it was great. They were dominated. It was fun to watch. We've got some pretty cool film to break down here, man.
Yeah, I mean, we're fans.
What is this feeling?
We're not players. We're not coaches.
What's happening?
We can look past teams, but we're
I
gonna
do it all the time.
We are gonna act like coaches tonight, though.
Well,
A little bit, because we're gonna do a film
at
breakdown.
least armchair quarterbacks.
Yeah,
At least
we're
armchair
gonna act
quarterbacks.
like we know what we're talking about here. But Redcasters, ooh man, we've already got a good crew watching here, man.
95.
This is
like,
awesome.
Just
We're
like the year.
yeah, minute in, we got to
Well,
triple
94,
digits.
another good year. I don't know if we want more viewers. 95. We can go to 97, but that's about it.
Here we go. Well, before we get going, want to give Rob some more credit for everything he did on Saturday with the going to the. He had press passes, went to the game,
Yeah.
and then set up our live rooftop at the beer house.
It looks like the vibes were good downtown.
It was fun. It was 2 hours of the crowd was lively. I do want to give this out here. This is Nebraska Oktoberfest. It's going to be at Stinson Park, Omaha, on September 21st, which is the Saturday after we play Illinois. So Illinois is Friday night. So you're not going to miss any Husker football. Go down there on September 21st at 12 p.m. Features the Barry Boyce Band, Angie Kritz and the Polka Tunes, and the Rascal Martinez Band.
Those are fun names. I like that they used Harry Potter's Patronus as their symbol. You won't get that, but some people will.
I don't get it. And that's why we work so well, Mac.
Yeah. I bring all that culture, all that Potter culture.
Redcasters, as you're watching here tonight, throw in your questions, throw in your comments and everything. We're going to go through. There's a lot of film, so we
got some things.
We're just going to start it right away.
We don't do this for losses. It's unbearable.
So I think what we'll do is we'll start here on the offense, and this is play one, and this is the number one, the first touchdown that we scored.
Yeah.
This is Dowdell, and it's first and goal from the 5. The D line shifts late into the middle of the field, and watch left tackle Corcoran here. Corcoran dominates his down block, and then as the wide receiver goes in motion, the safety goes with him. So watch that safety. He's running right where we're going to end up going. Here comes Fedoni from right to left across the field, and Dowdell hits that hole hard, gets it right off of the pole.
Yeah.
We motion the safety out of there. I mean, this is a well-designed play there, Mac, and blocked well. Physical play, 5 yards in from the 5-yard line, right away, Dowdell.
Yeah, and I think a big part of it too is the way Dowdell ran it. I mean, there was no hesitation. He read his keys perfectly. So when he hit the line, he was going full steam. I mean, he didn't have to break any tackles, but he would have broke one at least, getting through there. And that was kind of a theme for him the whole day, is how he hit the line of scrimmage. I thought was aggressive, and he chose right. Like, he was making the right read. He seemed to go to the softest part of the defense when he would run. I'm sure you have another example.
Well, that's actually goes well with this second one. We're going to loop this one a couple of times over, Mac.
Okay.
So this is a little bit later. We've already scored, so it's 7-0. But it's going to be a handoff here where it's both tight ends or formation to the left. So it's a power left, double tight ends to the left. The O-line blocks down to the right, and Dowdell sees an inside linebacker doing a run blitz, and he cuts hard. So let's watch it. See that linebacker blitzing hard? That makes Dowdell cut off that. He could have gone outside. He cuts up. And look how hard he runs here. Makes his first contact about 7 yards down the field, and he's taking guys for 5 yards.
Yep. And I mean, right there, he does go to secure the ball. He wasn't running like lazy technique with the ball. I mean, it was a football play, but look, man, that sucked.
Everyone watching that game up until the point that he fumbled was wowed by Dowdell.
Everybody was.
I know. Look,
everybody still kind of is. If you talk to people, they say, "Well, I think Dowdell's the best, but he fumbled," and that's a fine attitude.
We're going to get to the fumble later, and we can talk about that more. But and he deserved to be benched from that. You can't fumble in the. So I don't want to jump ahead too many plays, but let's just remember what he did prior to that fumble here. And on these plays, the way that he ran these plays, the way that he ran and hit that hole, the way he sees that blitzing linebacker and cuts off it immediately. We're going to see an example a little bit later with a different back where we didn't have.
You can always tell when a guy cuts really hard when you see a lot of like black beads fly up behind him. And when you watch when he gets that ball, there's a little burnout. It's like watching the Flintstones. You know what I mean? Like when he turns and runs. And
both tight ends on the bottom there, double team the defensive end. So I mean, this is physical football. We're getting 12 personnel out there. We're getting double tights. Keep thinking, Redcasters, as we're talking about these plays. It's UTEP you're seeing, but keep picturing it being CU. Keep imagining it being Travis Hunter out there getting blocked by Fedoni or Lindemeyer or one of the big receivers.
Yeah, well, you're
pound and pound and pound.
You're kind of watching assignments too. I mean, it's the opponent is part of it, no doubt. But I mean, it looks properly blocked. Like no one's missing their blocks. Like that. Oh, if one guy doesn't do his job, the whole thing. Well, that's true, and it's nice to see them all kind of working in unison, which is the benefit of having a line that's been together for a long time with a bunch of seniors. That all come in a little over 300 pounds and 6'6".
It's like you're trying to segue for me, Mac, because the next play is exactly that. It's interior offensive line. Look at the three guys here: Evans, Scott, and Mazuka. And I know it's Mazuka, not
Hey, I didn't even notice that was so smooth.
But we're gonna have this on loop again as well. So look at these three guys in the middle. Dude. That's your left guard, that's your center, and that's your right guard, 8 yards down the field. And this is Ramir, by the way. Yeah. So we're trying to highlight a lot of different guys, different formations, different guys doing things well. This is Ramir hitting the hole hard. All right.
Oh man,
he's hitting that hole hard. He's chasing those three guys, and that is about 900 pounds of interior line that is working in unison 8 yards down the field.
Oh,
Mac. I know for the people listening to the show tomorrow and later on the podcast that maybe it doesn't quite come across as well.
I don't know if you listen to
this is a thing of beauty
podcast. That's kind of on you. It was in the title.
You should have known better. No, but I love this. This is a thing of beauty. And when we talked about when Coach Rhule got hired here, it was this style. What style of blocking does he want? Well, he's going to drive guys 10 yards down the field. Bob Sledge, former Husker offense lineman, his son Sam is on the team. He coaches offense line out at Creighton Prep. And that was one of the early things he said when Rhule was hired here was, this is a guy that's going to coach a different style. You're going to drive guys. You're going to go 10 yards down the field and practice in these drills. And when you're watching these three guys moving the interior part of the UTEP line 10 yards back, again, fast forward to Colorado. That's what we need to see.
Here's another nice feature. If you'll notice at the very beginning of the play, they're not stacking the line against us, which allows, for when you get a good surge on the line of scrimmage for some big runs. I mean, look how far back the linebackers are at the start of the play. That is what a good passing game will get you.
Yep.
And it makes the lineman's job easier. It makes them look better. And it does make them better. I mean, that first drive was a long drive. They really got to kind of grease the wheels a little bit for the start of the game. It was fun to watch, man.
Yeah. Anthony here. No holding calls. That's
crazy. That's a crazy stat. I know I text Honke this at the end of the game last week. And sometime I'm like, when was the last time Nebraska won a game where the starting quarterback had negative rushing yards? I'm like, or just the fact that a running back was leading us in rushing. How about that? That's going to happen this year. It's actually going to be a running back who leads us in rushing this year. It might be a wide receiver that leads us in passing. And, the tight ends, that's still kind of an evolving piece. They would have had a better game if we'd had a little bit better block. And so there's still a lot on the table for these guys. Anyway, did I segue good that time? What are we looking at next?
Well, I think what we've looked at through these first three plays, they were physical runs up the middle. They were all fairly successful ones. We were getting 5, 6, 7, 8 yards early in the game.
Yep.
I always think back to the Osborne era, and if you can just be consistent and stick with the run, those 3 and 4 year 3 and 4 yard carries early in a game can be 5 and 6 and 7 yard at the
that's
end.
the conventional wisdom. This is true.
Right out of the gate, I think what's real progress for us is that we were getting those 6, 7, 8 yard runs right away.
And from our smaller backs too. I mean, Ramir,
getting
a surge like that was great, but
it
was different when Dowdell came in. I really, there's no question. Had he not fumbled, like he probably would have had a 100-yard game. You know, because I don't think he would have got yanked, and then it would have been a different game altogether. But is what it is. How wonderful is it that a guy can fumble, be having a good game, fumble, be replaced, the game goes on pretty well without him. You know, and like to be able to send the message, we're not putting up with that this year. You know, sorry to make an example of you, but you put it on the turf. That's how it goes, and I applaud it. All that being said, sure like to see him play next week.
Well, and this next play here kind of is along those same lines of like great players can make some mistakes. And this is that 3rd and 2 that they throw it's an RPO and they throw it out to Fedoni. And right away, I saw some responses from people on social media and everything that what a bad call, number one.
Right.
Why are we throwing it out there? It's 3rd and 2.
Right.
And it is an RPO, so it's not really a call. This was a decision made, but it wasn't even a bad decision to throw it to him.
Nope.
2 of our best receivers are on the bottom here, Banks and Nair.
Yeah.
Both 6'4", both 220 pounds. These are big bodied guys. These are guys that we're expecting next week against Travis Hunter and the defensive backs there, Sanders, Son and stuff. We want to see some big blocks. We want to see some pounding. And they just flat out, both of them whiffed on these blocks. And that's the difference. Like completely whiffed.
Fedoni had no time.
And I feel comfortable saying that about these 2 guys because we know how good Nair and Banks are. Right?
Well, we know how good wide receivers they are. I don't know. I didn't watch enough of the blocking of the wide receivers during the game to make an evaluation on that. This just being a highlight, though, was not a great example.
A low light there, yeah. Banks is someone that, like, I think back to the very first play of the spring game last year, and in fact, it was this play except to the other side, and it was a catch by Fedoni.
Carter Nelson.
It was Fedoni, and it was Banks was 20 yards downfield, knocking a guy into the sideline. I know they can do it. You got to break down and get the block.
It almost looks like they misread because the way Banks kind of positioned himself at the start of that play, it looked like I don't know if he thought a different kind of route was going.
But I also think it's something along the lines of it's unacceptable right now to fumble the football. We know that.
He just got juked.
We know that it's unacceptable to fumble the football. You're going to be off the field. But other guys made mistakes at times too. Think of Nair dropping that touchdown pass on the first drive. And it's easy to say, well, just yank him. Yeah. Hey, if you're not catching touchdowns, yank him. Well, geez, that would have been dumb. He went on to have 5 catches for 100+ yards in the first half. So that kind of goes back to the Dowdell thing that, that he'll get back out there and he'll learn from it. But in this case here, these 2 guys, we'll need them to learn from this too. I'm sure they will. I'm sure they're getting plenty of film breakdown on this because this play could have been big if those 2 guys
it would have been a first down for sure.
Yeah.
How many more running plays do you have? Because if not, I just want to kind of – are we going to circle back and talk a little bit about the game and talk about the next game?
Yeah, let's do that between offense and defense.
Okay.
Because we have 11 plays of offense, 11 plays of defense.
All
right. This one here doesn't take much. Just look at the offensive line on this. This is a mature play by Dillon. He throws the ball away. There was nowhere to throw it. But look at how much time he has. The O-line is much maligned over the years. Ben Hart's not this and Corcoran's not this. Look at this play.
Yeah.
Look at how much time.
Right.
And this is a 4-man rush. Okay. So it's a 4-man rush. It's 5-on-4. We didn't have any back or tight end back to block. It was a 5-on-4. And Dillon had all the time in the world to survey the field and ultimately made the right decision. If he didn't have somebody open, and because we don't have the all 22 view, I don't know. Maybe he missed an open guy.
The only guy kind of maybe he could have threaded it, but that's still a tight window, and he'd have to gun it. I don't know. You're right. It's impossible to make that read, but I know that the word composure gets used a lot, but seriously, for him not to feel the need to try to squeeze it in there to make a big play because everybody's counting on me. I'm the big star quarterback. I got 1,000 eyes, hundreds of thousands of eyes watching me right now. I'm going to make a great play. He didn't do that. He's like, sorry, nobody's open. Chucked it out of bounds.
Just going to throw it away.
It's kind of egoless, which is pretty cool when he's kind of elite at throwing the ball.
Yep. Yeah, Langa Gang says, I hope we have that kind of time this weekend. I agree.
We will.
Dion, welcome back. GBR and Vegas Jared, go big Redcast on a Tuesday. Let's go. Absolutely. I mean, Dylan played a great game.
Yeah.
I mean,
Great
and we can sit there and people have said it. Oh, it's UTEP. I don't care. It's a true freshman playing his first game and playing in front of that kind of crowd and everything. And he didn't show a lot of nerves.
Right.
And that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was like when you say he had played a great game and they said, well, it was UTEP. I'm like, UTEP has nothing to do with why he played a great game. I mean, he just looked like he was running the offense out there. He looked like he knew what he was doing. The game doesn't look too big for him, even kind of. When he could have had and did have all the pressure in the world on him. Like that's pretty impressive. I'm not mad at the game. What we got next year?
Let's do one more throw, and then we'll get back to a run. This is catch radius. So this was a slant on the top to Nair, and
Loving it.
You know, when we first saw it, first off, how good is this feeling as a quarterback to be able to throw it up and high and back and know that your 6'4" long, lanky receiver, athletic, can get up and bring that ball down like that. This is a catch radius. Now you have this much more space to throw it in. And, you know, I'm drawing a radius around in a circle around the quarterback or around the receiver. You know, you can throw it in that area and he can go and take it. Like that's got to be such a good feeling for the QB. This is different from the itty bitty committee guys or Kemp a year ago. This kind of catch, it helps being 6'4" and having that kind of reach.
And, you know, this is probably some of that, you know, I know people hate 7-on-7 stuff, but you kind of learn in those matchups where you can kind of put a ball in if you've got a good wide receiver where you can actually throw it. And Dylan's a guy who's comfortable putting the ball and placing it up high, but at angles where his guy can get it. Or if it doesn't, it looks like it would have went behind the corner as well. I mean, so the ball wasn't in danger. And yet he didn't lead his guy into any danger. And that you can see that linebacker's creeping up there, hoping that he's going to drill that as opposed to the way he didn't really float it, but he just got it over top of him.
We see it a little bit. It's not in our breakdown, but we see it a little bit like in the touchdown pass to Banks. That was a high out, you know, let your 6'4" guy go up and catch it. And it's if this was almost any former Husker quarterback, you would almost look at that and go, that was a bad throw. He threw it back and behind him kind of thing. With Dylan here, and this is where I wanted to rewatch this a couple times, it's that outside linebacker or that safety that's sitting right there on the 30.
He's creeping on it.
He's creeping up. I don't know that you can lead him. I don't know if leading him would have been. So I think Dylan may have thrown it where he needed to throw it on that. But it's more the point of it gets back to that catch radius thing is that you can throw a behind the receiver pass high and knowing that you have a guy out there that can go up and make that catch.
Yeah.
That just gives you a lot of flexibility right now. Man.
It gets to be hard to defend.
Yeah, because you throw that inside, what if that gets tipped up in the air? We've seen that.
Yeah, because
there's an INT.
It was actually kind of well covered.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it wasn't like they were in the wrong defense. Now, maybe that linebacker gets a little bit deeper zone on that.
There's play action at the very beginning of this too. So let's rewatch it one more time. There's a little bit of play action, which is what sucks that the linebacker and the safety up there. So let's hear. Yeah, so right here, just at the beginning, and we've been successfly running on them. There's enough to suck them up. Because your point, you're exactly right, though, Mac. If he's 3 yards back, if he's at the 27 instead of the 30, he's in a lot better position. If you were throwing a slant and you're leading him, that's a pick.
Yeah.
Well, again, Dylan can see that guy, and he doesn't throw it in front of him. He throws it behind him.
Yep.
So he's at least throwing it away from a defender. Again, that's a really mature play on the part of the quarterback.
He was smooth with it. Mm-hmm. Look, like you can tell when a guy lets go of the ball if he thinks he about threw a pick because they kind of hop a little. He just is chilling back there when he lets it go.
Kyle Diedrich. Kyle, buddy. I realize it's only one game, but Rhule looks like a Jared Goff type talent.
Top tier golf, though.
Yeah, Anthony. Nebraska looked like they should have looked against a team like UTEP. I'll absolutely agree there.
But that's good.
That's what we want, right?
Yeah.
Let's get back to a little bit of the running game here. This gets back to a couple points we made earlier. First off, we talked about how Ramir ran hard on a play earlier, and he's got that. He can get in between tackles. We did show the play.
He's very willing.
He's very willing. We showed a play where Dowdell made a cut off of a inside linebacker blitzing and cut right up the gut. So what are we going to show? We're going to show Rahmir cutting it out, and bouncing it out, and not, probably giving up what could have been a big play.
This is another play. Probably should have been a first down.
Yeah. So
they were pretty engaged. That's the kind of a little bit of the difference from what you see with Dowdell. He would have probably just
walk them through it here, Mac. So it's shotgun and handing the ball off right now to Rahmir. He's going to the left.
They've got a pretty good seal. If you can see your lineman's asses, typically you want to cut inside of that.
Right there.
But if the ass is angled out like it is, you want to cut inside of that. And really, the linebackers had enough depth where if he would have just hit the gas, put his foot in the ground, and gone, it's at least 4. And if they took a bad angle, then it could. Rahmir is a guy who can house it. I'm sure he can.
So right there, man. Cut.
Yeah.
There. Oh, he looked like he was going to do it.
And he almost did it.
He almost turned his body.
And I think I can't read his number.
Do you think it was the
0? I think 0 freaked him out.
You said also before we were watching this, you thought maybe even did he see the ref or something?
Oh yeah. The ref was kind of the only guy in the play. And I'm like,
is there
did he get
anything
the shadow of the ref made him think that hole was Phil? It's like, oh, right. Nah, I don't know.
Probably not. Not looking at this again. But the point is, it almost anytime you were going to stop in the backfield and now you're bouncing it out, all you're doing is giving defenses a chance to catch up with you. And so Rahmir, I'm sure he's had plenty of coaches in his ear since about that one play. Again, we've seen plays where he hit the hole hard. That's why I wanted to show the one with the 3 interior offensive linemen earlier. We wanted to give examples of where he was hitting it hard. This is one where I think he just a split-second decision. I just think he bounced it out when he should have gone.
And it's still first game, and he does have a lot of experience, but you get out there for real for the first time, and nobody got a ton of carries. So but
and you're trying when you have a 4-man rotation at running back, everyone's trying their best to make a big play, right? And sometimes you just got to take what's there. It's what impressed me about his run earlier that we showed. It's what impressed me about Dowdell and some of those earlier runs too. Was hey, there's the whole boom. I'm just going to go.
Right.
And maybe I'm only getting 8 yards, and I say that with quotation marks, only 8. But not everything's going to be. We can't Maurice Washington every run and try to cut it out and go 80 yards every time because you go back to the Maurice Washington type of guys, and they'd go 80 every once in a while, but they'd have a lot of tackles in the backfield too, where they're cutting things out and bouncing it out when you didn't need to. And so, anyways, I thought that was worth highlighting. And so since we highlighted a play that wasn't so great, we're going to do another one.
But a good example of a negative rushing play that the line actually did a pretty good job.
Yeah. Well, you know what? There's a good segue because this is the fumble here. This is Dowdell's fumble. And when it restarts again, we'll get to see the formation and everything. But watch both of the tackles on this. Specifically, watch right tackle Benhart. Again, much maligned guy. Right tackle Benhart. Look at this pancake. He just takes that defender down to he's just laying on him at the 13. And Dowdell's going right off of that.
Yeah.
Right here, 10 yards, 9 yards down the field, ball comes out. And look who's almost there to land on it. That's left tackle Corcoran. So go back, try to find positives in a negative play. You've got offensive linemen pancaking guys. You have offensive linemen getting down the field 10 yards.
Look at that
look
cut
at the
right
cut.
there. That cut
That's a
was
good
perfect.
Cut. That's a good run. It's a good run, but also like when Rob and I were doing the post-game show, Rob was in this end zone, by the way. He was right down there. He had a great angle of this, and he was saying, yeah, but it was a really good hit. It was he was kind of defending the fumble. I'm like, you just can't. No. I know. I love what Dowdell was doing. You cannot defend. You lose football games because of this.
Yeah, red zone. No, it's high game.
Yep,
it's a punishable offense.
Yep,
and he got punished for it.
I was hoping he would get back in at the end of the game, and some people have said he did. I guess I haven't paid that close of attention.
Rhule
to
said
the stats.
he played.
Maybe he came back in, but I don't remember
saw
any. I don't remember any handoffs or anything to him or any carries. But regardless, getting benched was absolutely warranted for this. As well as he was playing, it was warranted.
Also, by the fourth quarter, they've already got all the backups.
Yeah.
In, so he's not going to go in then. So it might be a little overblown that he didn't play that much in the second half. A lot of starters didn't play that much in the second or at least the fourth quarter.
Rob looks different. A mod for this. Yeah. So let's go to number 9 here, play number 9. And this is the touchdown pass in there. And I think there's a couple of things that are interesting. First off, the right guard and the right tackle. So between Mazuka and Benhart, there is pressure that gets between them. And Rhule being able to throw this 45-plus yards in the air without being able to step into it.
Right.
Just a fling of the ball.
Right.
And to throw it on that kind of target over double coverage.
Mm-hmm.
And then Nair's ability, 6'4", catch the
Catch
ball.
radius again.
Unbelievable balance here.
That was crazy.
I mean, Mac, that's a pretty play that wasn't
That's
100%
an athletic
executed.
wide receiver right there. His balance on the sideline after he caught that was athletic, man. But you're right. That's the beauty of it. He's got such a flick of the wrist. It's already out by the time he gets hit. They do hit his follow through, but it is out. And he just floats it in nice. It's got that. You remember Jeff Blake from the Bengals?
Oh, yeah.
You remember what a great deep thrower he was? He always had that really high arching ball that did such a nice job of dropping over the corners or whatever the defensive back was on there. And that's the kind of thing when Nair's 6'4", Banks is 6'4". How tall is Travis Henry?
That's a good question. Let me look.
I think he's like a 5'10" guy.
I know he can jump. I don't think he's 6 feet.
I know he can jump, but like, if you're ever going to get deep on a guy like that, it's going to have to come from over the top like that to make a play. Does anyone know there? Can we check the chat? Maybe they know. But either way, he's a smaller fella. And plays like that actually allow wide receivers to kind of.
This is interesting. I typed Henry, Colorado height, and there's a Henry Mountain. So it's 13,261 is the elevation of that.
All right. Educational drop-in.
That was not what I was looking
Everybody
for there.
knew that one, though, I'm afraid. Anyways,
want to watch this one more time, and I just want to focus this time on the right guard and the right tackle.
Of course you do.
I think it's easy to just immediately blame someone, right?
Oh,
Benhart blew the block here.
Right.
He might have. Benhart might have blown it, but let's watch it together when they show it and think: could the right guard have gone in double team that nose tackle when he should have been, looking out? I don't know. I mean, it's hard when the tackle gets beat to the inside. Part of me is thinking, was that a miscommunication?
That's the thing with watching the line and trying to evaluate it when you don't know what calls they're making or what calls that might have been missed. It's really hard to know who screwed up or maybe nobody screwed up and maybe that guy just broke in hard and Benhart couldn't handle it. I'd prefer not to think that, though. But either way, he got the ball out, delivered it cleanly, and we scored 6. That doesn't really happen.
By the way, it's Travis Hunter, not Travis Henry. I was typing in the wrong name. And he's 6 foot.
Is that disrespect?
6'1".
Oh, shoot, man.
6'1".
They keep receipts.
Disrespect.
I misnamed him.
We got 2 more plays here on the offense before we switch to the defense. But in between that, we're going to do a little just talk about the game. I love this play, Mac. This takes me back to coach's clinic, the first coach's clinic I ever went to last year. Solich, Chuck Mazursky, the former Southeast coach, came up and did an entire hour on just weak side runs. And this is the long, the 40-some yard run that Emmett had.
Yeah.
But more, and we can talk about obviously the breakaway or lack thereof, I guess, the ability to break away from it. But I want to talk about the formation at the very beginning.
I would love to see this play from the all 22. All 22. Just the way he cut in off.
They show a replay of it on the game, and it looks great. But right away, when the play comes back up, the tight ends to the bottom. So the tight end's on the right side, and then they have trips right. Everything is to the right. And so this is a run after about 2 or 3 checks that Dylan gets into.
Oh, yeah, it's the famous triple check.
They run to the left, which is the weak side. There's only a guard and tackle on that entire side of the field. And with the numbers advantage on the weak, Emmett ran this well. He breaks that tackle. He has nice juke moves right in between them. What a lot of people remember from it is this inability to pull away there. And he might be lacking that one last gear, but he did a whole lot of really good things. To get that far.
You take a 42-yard run. For sure you take a 42-yard run.
Yeah.
And it didn't look like this play is exceptional any other way than they just blocked it the way they're supposed to. This was a nice move right here to kind of get it inside of that guy so he can hit it full speed a little quicker. I don't know. He could he could have busted it wide too. It was a well blocked play.
You know, one thing, let's watch it again and keep an eye on Rhule here, actually, with the zone read piece of this. There was a linebacker that was running to the left as if he was chasing the quarterback. So let's see if Rhule did anything to help kind of sell one of the linebackers following him. So it's a handoff, and then Rhule takes off.
I'd say no.
Okay, I was thinking that guy, right? I was thinking 41. 41 kind of took like one step left. It wasn't a great.
We don't really do a lot of follow through on that, do we?
Nah, he didn't. And you know, if that's Harburg running that, he probably is going to respect more, you know, than what Rhule would have in that case.
Probably more guys in the box, though.
You're absolutely right there.
Great run, though.
Bang, Travis Hunter, 6'1", 185.
Totally wrong on all fronts. He's tiny, and I'm sticking to it. 185 still skinny.
Jimmy Dougal.
Is he really 6'1"?
6'1".
I'll be damned.
All right, and last offensive play, and again, what we want.
Is that more disrespect?
I don't know.
I'm really
in this offense of these 11 plays that we showed, with the next one being number 11. We were trying to show a wide swath of kind of like different things that we do. You know, some deep bombs, the throw out, things that we did well, things that we didn't, that we aren't doing as well.
Things to clean up.
Here's just old school football, Mac. This is I formation. At the 3-yard line, second and goal, fullback, 2 tight ends, and you're handing it off to Irvin. And I just want to set the stage for a couple of things here. Number one is there are 3 Nebraska-born walk-ons on the field right now.
Nice.
Forkature and Lyndon Myers.
Lyndon Myers, right? Yep.
Yeah. Geez. Lyndon Myers.
Trust yourself.
I need to trust myself there.
That's
gotta get the names down.
No, you got it.
But the 2 tight ends, and then also Liebentritt is the fullback. 3 walk-on Nebraska kids, and there are 10 guys in the box. So for all the, you know, you go back to all those, you can't run in these situations and all that. Sometimes you just got to beat people up. And, you know, Irvin what a great back. We haven't seen a lot of Irvin in this so far.
No.
Here's an example where Irvin comes in and does exactly what he's supposed to do. You have Evans pulling from left to right, and he's going to be the guy in the end zone.
That was absolutely a choice by the running back, too. There's no shot he didn't see that it was green the other way. He wanted to hit that guy, and I respect that. We talked about it. We want to make them feel us. Yeah, they felt that one. He's like, I could score, but he just wanted to talk to him on the way down. That was hilarious.
Jamie Dougal, we fans are not in position that we should be complaining about a 42-yard run. Our jaws should be dropping with an excitement. I think that's the beauty of what I love about Husker football fans, and we're smart fans and everything. And I hope the way that we set this up is that we can always critique. We can always, I think, in a learning sense, Chaz and SoCal was so good about that as in the Twitter world where, you know, people just, you know, crap on each other all the time. Chaz was always like, how do we learn? How do we get better? I look at these 11 plays, and when I show something that, you know, if Ramir didn't hit that hole the right way, it's not because he's a bad player. We don't need to cuss him out for it. In fact, let's show a play where he did something really well.
It shows more potential in the offense by showing them. It's like, oh, look at that. Oh, that was very close.
Exactly. I think Emmett showed so many positive things in that run. He broke when he cut and he broke through 2 guys. That was awesome. But I think the first guy to tell him that there was one gear that was lacking would probably be Rhule. Rhule, you know, measures that. They measure in miles per hour how fast these guys are. And so, you know, once you get into open space, they're going to want to get touchdowns out of that. But that doesn't mean we can't celebrate that 45-yard run either.
Also,
we will every time, right?
Husker fans' expectations are a very fluid thing. By, you know, possession by possession, game by game, you know, it's going to change and fluctuate. And as soon as we started having success on offense, which we were having a pretty good day here, you see a 42-yard run and you're like, could have been more. And like, that is crazy because he's right. A 42-yard run is a pretty good run by the running back last year.
Yeah, nice play, but don't care what formation we're in, just score. I kind of care. I mean, when it's first and goal at the half-yard line, we go into shotgun and we don't score. We've heard that for years.
Yeah.
Look, the ability to get under center and just power a team with big body guys, the ability to spread a team out with 4 and 5 receivers, the ability to put 3 tight ends on the field, that stresses a defense when you can do a lot of things. When we had Coach Osborne on the show and we talked, you asked the question, Mac, what made that offense so good? What was the first thing he said? The very first thing Coach Osborne said was,
great question, Matthew. I'm proud of you. You're so damn handsome.
And then,
something like that.
Yes. And then he followed up. He goes, a lot of people think we just bullied teams and ran them over, but he goes, but we ran 15 different sets. We did everything from full house backfield, double tight
he
ends
did say that
to
too,
5
yeah.
wide receivers and everything in between. That's the first thing he went to was actually alignment. In fact, when we beat Florida in that game, what was one of the first things that we did is we just misaligned him at times.
Yeah.
When Tommy Frazier goes up the gut on a 5 wide receiver set and does a quarterback sneak, why isn't he doing that out of double tight end sets?
Everything worked in that game.
But why didn't we just do that every play out of the I formation with double tights? Well, you can't do it. The defense is all in the middle of the field. You don't run it that way, but you spread them out. You get Terry Donahue, the guy on TV, saying, hey, they're running Florida's offense. And I'm sitting there going, no, they're not.
Yeah,
they're running Nebraska's offense out of 5 wide receivers, and they're spreading the team out by alignment. So formation matters. But at the end of the day, the most important thing, Deion, is execution. And we saw that earlier with that Fedoni play. Catch that ball and have 2 guys making blocks. It wasn't a bad call. It wasn't a bad decision by Rhule to throw it to him. Make the blocks.
Right. We watched the game together, and it dawned on me after you had left, but I hadn't sat through a game with you where you hadn't bitched a lot about the play calls or the formations or the choices made, like actively irritated with how they were choosing. You didn't do that at all for this game. I don't remember one time you going, what are we doing here? God, why can't we just run? Like how you get really upset. Maybe, my wife was in the room. My wife was in the room, so maybe we were being, I don't know, but we were both kind of like, I like what they're doing. Yeah, this mix and match. It's hard to bitch about the balance when it was completely balanced, and hard to bitch about the rotation when everybody played, and hard to bitch about the quarterback when he comes out and slings it like he does. It's just like, okay, the defense gave up a touchdown because they were running super tempo. I'm like, well, do you think they didn't try that again? Yeah. You think this worked really good, but let's slow her down a little bit. UTEP tried it again.
Well, we'll get into that on the defensive plays here.
Segue.
And some of what we try doing in these film sessions too, or we try to find some of the kind of the obscure plays, that 5-yard play, or it's not all about touchdowns. Or if it is, the narrow touchdown pass is a great example of this. We have pressure coming in out of the right. I don't know if it was a right guard thing or a right tackle issue. That's not. I'm not the coach, right?
That's not for us to say.
But that's something to fix, even though the outcome of that play was great. We'll always take the touchdown pass. I will always take a 70-yard touchdown bomb for, always. But that doesn't mean that there aren't places within that.
You would never ignore in a victory what you wouldn't ignore in a loss. That you got, those things all need to be fixed.
Yep. Corners to corner. The week is here, boys. If you see all there I'll see y'all there on Saturday. I'm going to be the one wearing red. Laugh Out Loud Classic, yes.
Nice.
Yeah, Andrew. Yeah, Andy Liss.
What's up,
the breaks went against us for the better part of the decade. The universe owes us some good luck.
Agreed.
Justin, there's no luck. You make good things happen with your play and preparation.
There's bad luck, though.
Deion points up to that. Yeah, these are all true. Every one of them true. I'll take some good luck. I think the flea kicker back in the Missouri 1997. There was some decent luck that happened to us on a play, and you make it. Sometimes you make your own luck, but
however you get it, I'll take it.
I'll take it. And after the last decade or two, whatever, we'll take as much as we can. Well, let's get to some defense here, Matt.
All right, sure.
And we'll start here. First one is a 3rd and 13 early in the game.
Okay.
We're up 7-0, and they throw a screen against us. And this is a really good call, I think, against an attacking fast defense like we've had. And a couple of things happen on this.
Is that Ty putting the brakes on?
It's Ty. Jesus. Ty not only puts the brakes on, hits the running back. Bounces him out of his route there. And then look at Nash also making his pursuit.
Just hugging him to death.
And then the 2 guys that end up making –
oh, my God. That's even better in slow motion. I didn't realize how he kind of slammed him at the end. That was great. Yeah, watch Ty, though. It's kind of funny.
Sherman provides pressure off the right side from the jack position. So this is that's MJ up on top. So he's getting all the pressure, forcing that QB to get rid of the ball pronto. And then 42 is Micah Bear. You're gonna absolutely hear his name throughout
this Sunday play right there.
Yeah, you're going to hear Bear's name over and over.
Makai Bear balled out last week. He is excellent.
He is all over the place on this. Boom, makes the tackle right there. 6 at Hill, I think he gets knocked over a little bit on it. But so you've got pursuit, and at the very end of the play, one of the things to look at is how many red jerseys are around the play.
Mm-hmm.
like this harkens back to the statue that's on the east side of the
I
stadium.
love it when things harken back.
That's
so much better than hollering back.
Well, and what's that statue on the east side of the stadium? It's the black shirts. It's 8 guys, just engulfing a runner. And there's so many times in this game where there's a play and you're seeing 3, 4, 5, 6 guys in red all around it. And so that's the first one there.
We're gonna have to tackle well this week.
Yeah,
that's gonna be a big deciding factor in this game in tackling in space.
That's a great point. Again, like we said on the offensive side, when you're seeing this and you're seeing it against UTEP, now imagine these plays with Colorado running it. So to your point, if somebody catches it in open space, that's not a UTEP receiver running anymore. Now it is Hunter, or it's one of their speedy receivers, and so all those.
If he could have got his head turned, that's a pickable ball. He just kind of got stumbling, and I don't know. It just sort of broke down for him, which is a little disappointing considering his single-digit status and the time he's been on the team. But he does make up for it a little bit later on.
Can you hear us right now?
Yeah.
Okay, now you can hear us. Okay. We're going back and forth. All right. So this is the touchdown pass here. Yes, now they can hear us. Okay, good. All right. So touchdown pass, and this was a third play of a drive where they got into tempo on us, and that's as fast of a tempo I've seen a team do.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'll give them all the credit in the world. I've seen Oregon's and UCF's when Frost was there, teams that like to go fast. This was fast.
It was pretty fast.
And Hartzog makes the tackles on the first and second down of this drive. So he makes a tackle, and he makes a tackle on this third play, deep man-to-man. He gets beat. I mean, it was a thing of perfection the entire drive from start to finish. And so you got to give them all the credit in the world. I would also say they didn't do this again on us the rest of the game.
Right.
There was probably 65, 70 yards on this one drive. They ended up with 205 yards total.
It is what it is. He looks like he got to stumbling, didn't have his eyes right, got beat on a play. Like I was saying, maybe he didn't hear it before because we were muted or whatever was going on. But it's a little disappointing because he's a single digit in his experience on the field, but also a good time to learn. It's like, hey, every play counts. You always have to have your eyes right. It ended up being the only points they scored, and really you could credit the defense for 2 points. So really the defense is only allowed, 5 points. 5 points in that game.
And as we'll see in some future plays here, Hartzog comes back and does really well in some other plays here. So this is, we judge somebody.
He's a good player. He's a good player, I think. And it was just one of those things that sometimes you get beat. And, him with the, defensive backs, I always talk about having a short memory, and it looks like he did. Man, it's weird how the field keeps changing from green to
I recorded
of green.
The TV upstairs and the TV downstairs. So that would be this. But this is
you
another one.
You got to work on your RNG tent, bro.
This is another one of those pursuit plays. And so it's a quick little out. And Sherman gets through again here on the blitz there. So he's getting pressure up the gut there. Watch Judy, 16. Judy stops right here at the 12,
Yeah.
starts cutting out to him.
Yeah, that's a great job.
We also have Leonard
job.
coming out there.
It's a problem already.
Yep, there's Bullock.
Yeah, that was excellent. That was excellent. I mean, it's not even
my
really a
goodness.
blitz. You only brought 4, you know?
Gifford and Bullock show why they're the top tacklers on the team. I mean, this is the pursuit's just awesome. This is I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Geez, I mean, there's
interesting.
7 guys all around that.
It'll be interesting to see how Colorado does this because UTEP really got the ball out fast, and Colorado likes to take shots, which take a little bit longer. It'd just be curious to how they approach our defense because we are going to attack. We're going to swarm. I mean, it's got to be in the back of their mind. We're not going to have a hell of a lot of time to throw these deep balls, or at least ideally,
I mean, they got sacked 8 times last year by us, so
yeah. And everybody says we only got 1 sack last week, but there were a lot of hurries. He took a lot of shots. Shador, I'm talking about.
Sure.
Yeah. So,
well, you mentioned safety earlier, Mac, and here it is. They're at their 3-yard line. This goes back to, hey, we fumbled, quick turn of possession, and in the past that's hurt us. We lose games when we fumble, and then the defense gets out there, isn't ready to get out, and start giving up some first downs. And they came out right away here and shut them down. Watch Mackay Bear again,
dude.
right up the gut.
Ty takes your eye because of how fast he comes around. Doesn't make the play, and yet his boys are right up there filling up the gut, and finishing them off.
Nash absolutely clogs the middle.
Yeah.
And what Ty does, and we're going to see it in a future play on this too, the coaching staff, Tony White, they really coach to attack the long mesh. There's a long mesh that this quarterback, that UTEP, he's going to hold that for a long time, making that decision. And the coaching staff didn't say, hey, just sit there and walk up and watch. And they just said attack. And if you hit the wrong guy, well, you hit the guy, and somebody else is going to clean up the other guy.
Seems like you might call something different in the end zone than a long mesh. I really want to get a good read on this.
Well, so Ty here,
so stupid.
Ty comes clean. He comes hard off the edge. Nash clogs the middle, and Bear makes the play. And one more time, it's great pursuit and a gang tackle. This is 2 points.
I know where to go with. I mean, it was nice.
There you go. Number 5 here, hands up. Hands up is you get Van Poppel, number 44, off the top. He's going to apply some pressure. So this is Riley Van Poppel coming.
Yes.
And wide open receiver there running the slant. But it's Stephen Thompson gets his hands up. So the linebacker there, number 56, he comes in there, linebacker. He's read the little play action. He sucks up, gets his hands up, and if he doesn't get his hands up, that's a completion to the receiver.
It was a good job of Gifford not cooking that dude too, because we've seen that in the past. Honestly, this is a perfect example of the difference between cultures. We've seen it in the past where where number 2 Gifford would have lit that dude up after he missed the pass, and then it got a penalty.
And that's a 15-yard penalty.
I mean, I'm not trying to give him credit for not doing something stupid, but it's nice to see him not do stupid things. I'm like, that just pleases me.
There's a lot of discipline on this team. We saw it on the first play of defense where Ty Robinson on that screen catches himself, knocks the running back off. That's a disciplined play from a guy that wants to be aggressive. Same point right here with Gifford. He could knock that guy silly, but he doesn't.
Right.
And we live to play another down. The other thing is that I can't overstate how important it was to keep UTEP out of tempo. We saw that drive where they went 3 plays. And how do you get into tempo? You get into tempo with first down. With first down. So here they are on 1st and 10. You complete this slant to that receiver, and they get 11 yards. And guess what? They're lining up in 5 seconds again. And so those are some of the lost things. This wasn't just a knockdown. This was a chance this was an opportunity for them to get into tempo, and we prevented them.
What'd you think of how they were calling plays when they showed that, where the guy's actually chatting in his ear up until the snap?
You're talking about the coach talking there? Like up to 15.
But they showed it even on there. Like he's chirping in his ear, like, hand it off. Like, what'd you think about that?
Well, I don't think he can hear that then. Are you talking
100% the quarterback can hear it.
The quarterback, that they cut off the quarterback talk 15 seconds before snap.
Correct. 15, yes. Mm-hmm. But if you get up to the line of scrimmage in a certain amount of time, they can talk into your ear up until the snap.
I see what you're saying. So Oh, yeah, that'd be
I mean,
annoying. I think that'd be annoying.
But
as
that's
hell.
what they were doing. That when do you remember when she put the microphone up into the helmet during the game and she was listening? He was talking the whole time and trying to kind of give him direction on where to go with the ball.
I see what you're saying. If you're in tempo and you're snapping the ball with 25 seconds, then you could conceivably still have the.
It seems
right
like, and this is just me. What's your quarterback doing there? I'm like, if you're just going to tell him what to do, it's like you're playing the video game. You know, it's like you're reading it for him, and that's fine. But dude, that's not going to work in a loud stadium. I don't think Colorado relies on that near as much. And Shedeur is such a vet; like they can hand signal their way out of stuff. The crowd noise will be a factor, but I don't know that Colorado gets down with the headset as much as like some teams might need to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's interesting. It'd be like, I think it'd be like trying to do TV or something and having a producer in your ear constantly talking to you as you're trying to talk. Like, there's only so much you can.
Well,
handle.
You could, but it allows the coach to be in his ear up until he snaps the ball if you line up quick enough, and that's a lot different than it's ever been before. It's not like hand checks and this and that. Now, depending on how much he can hear you, and if you're down in our end zone, you're not going to hear anything. So it could be good or bad, but I mean, you could never count on it on the road if that's what you're doing. That's there's still going to be hand signals. That was sort of a tangent, but it was just interesting. One of these new implementations of into college football. It will make some things easier. It's not going to be an end all cure all. There's still going to be, and that's the cool thing too. It's like crowd noise is going to matter. I mean, everybody's mentioned that, and Rhule mentioned it at his press conference. The crowd is going to make an impact.
Oh my gosh, it did a year ago. It should this year. Long mesh. Here's play number 6.
Long mesh.
So here's an example of just be aggressive. And this is Van Poppel coming off. Yeah. So look, he's not reading it. He's just attacking, and he attacks that running back. On this particular play, the running back doesn't end up having the ball, but he's not gonna let that.
But fortunately, he destroyed the guy along the way, and the quarterback tripped over him.
And watch the athleticism here of Princewell.
Oh,
number 18. So Princewell standing, he's on the left side there, outside linebacker. He cuts in a little bit, thinking it could be a run there. Quarterback starts going, and you see 18 turns right now. Look how athletic.
Oh yeah,
long strides.
Oh,
long
man,
arms.
Nice.
He picked up a lot of speed in a hurry there.
Yeah, that's really
everything was covered. The other thing is, watch this with the wide receiver in motion, and then basically the zone read right behind it. There's a lot of window dressing there. The wide receiver even turns around like he got a little pitch played, on the reverse. So there's a lot for the defenders to have to keep your eyes in the right spot, and yet we basically covered everything. Van Poppel blew up the running back, and you could make an argument that maybe Princewell should have stayed outside a little more. Maybe he got sucked in too much, but the athleticism of him to be able to turn around and make up that kind of ground, that was just a really good play there across the board. There's a lot going on that play before and at the snap, and we covered pretty much every piece of it.
That's a good pull. I like that one. Another young guy making young guy plays.
The defensive adjustment to that is waiting until the 15 seconds is out and then change your defense. Yeah, and there's going to be a lot of gamesmanship going on with the 15-second rule.
Oh yeah, I did hear about that. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yep, absolutely.
If they're lined up and ready to snap, the defense is going to have to present what they're going to do. You know what I'm saying? That you can say 15 seconds, but if they're up at the line in 10 seconds and not set up, well then we'll just throw it.
Yep. Number 7 here. This one, you've already mentioned this, Mac. There's a lot going on in this play here, too. Think of Colorado here. This is open space tackling.
I like how you zoomed in there, buddy.
Well, so Hartzog on this play, we showed him earlier where he gave up the touchdown, but here he is. Look at this in zone defense on a 1st and 10. They throw that 5-yard out, and that's about as sure of a tackle as you're going to get. That's what we need to have this week. The reason why there's 2 screens at the very beginning of this is because they just got a first down. They're getting into tempo. Here they are. That's Fox is trying to show 2 screens because of that. It's not just the play that we're in. Is
that James Williams on top coming around the corner?
I have to look here.
Wait till it loops back, but I mean he was getting pretty good pressure there.
But it's understanding the setting of the play too. And okay, so let's look for who the pressure is. That's Lenhart at the bottom.
On the top.
I think that's James Williams
Yeah.
on the top.
Yeah.
And so, but this is a sure tackle, an open space tackle. Think back to when Bill Bush became the defensive coordinator 4 games in the season, and we hadn't been tackling in practice. Like, you can watch that play and you know that these guys have been tackling. And again, it took them out of tempo also along the way too. So, and against Colorado, we need those kind of tackles in the open space.
100%. Yep.
100%. And we're going to give a little more love to Hartzog here. Here's the touchdown, or the touchdown. Here's the interception he had. But let's start off with the pressure coming from the 2 DNs here.
Just collapsing.
And those 2 DNs, Mac, who are they?
I actually couldn't see that. Huh?
It's not your starters. It's Princewell and it's Wallen. Kai Wallen.
Oh.
Kai Wallen listed number 3. He's a 3rd string DN. So when you think of the depth that's being created already.
3rd string DN and
third
in
string,
the second quarter.
Yeah.
With over 2 minutes to go.
I mean, Tony White will play 25 guys, 30 guys on defense just because he wants to. It has, he's developing depth along the way. But this is also, this looks like 1994 to me. It's a true 4-man defensive line. All 4 guys had their hands in the turf. So that when we talked all offseason about the jack position, Princewell's a jack. Well, that can be an outside linebacker. You could be stand up. In this case, Princewell's on top and he's got his hand in the turf. So I posted on social media about, this one looks like, Grant Wistrom and Dwayne Harris coming in, or we've got 2 guys hand in the turf and they're converging on the quarterback, and then he has to get rid of the ball fast. And we're not in a man-to-man situation here. I don't know, I'm not qualified right now to sit here and say that Hartzog's better in man versus zone or whatever, but in this zone situation, he's looking at the quarterback and he makes a read on the ball, and quarterback had to get rid of it quickly, and there's an INT. So
yeah, beautiful.
Again, when we go through these plays, we're finding ones where someone makes a mistake here, but then we're going to try to pat them on the back at other times too. Hartzog gives up
equal opportunity.
Hartzog gives up
right
a touchdown,
here.
but there he is getting the INT and making a big tackle on open field. Number 9, we've heard this forever. Set the edge. Set the edge. What does that mean? Well, here's a play where they're doing a counter. UTEP's doing a counter. They're pulling their backside guard and tackle, the right guard and the right tackle. So they're pulling both of them from right to left. And up on top is Jamari Butler, number 1. And really his job is, as much as anything, is just take on that guard. Don't let that guard push you out of there. Just take him on. Well, Jamari does you one better, and he ends up making the tackle. So it's like he takes on 2 blockers and then still goes in and makes the tackle on the guy. Like, that's really an impressive play.
Look at who is that? Is that Nash in the middle, though? I can't quite tell. Who's ever in the middle? I think it's Nash.
Okay, so
look at him stuff that up.
Yeah, that's
nowhere for them.
You're right. Every play, it doesn't happen in a vacuum. Like,
No.
there's something else happening. And, one guy has to clog up the middle so the other guy can do that. But I just thought the whole point of the whole point of pulling those backside guys, that backside guard is going to blow out your end so that the backside tackle can cut up and be a lead blocker. And what's Butler's role on that? Set the edge.
Yep.
Take that guard on and don't get pushed out. Well, he not only takes it on, he ends up making the tackle.
Yep.
Really impressive play there. And, again, it's just one of those ones that goes for a couple yards on first down. But, like, there's when you kind of break it down, look at it slow like that, I mean, you see some of the intricacies that go on in it.
It's really fun watching the defense because you really get to see a lot of players. And they're all really kind of contributing.
Yeah.
So it's fun to watch. It's like, oh, man, this guy's fun to watch. Oh, we got Wallen's in or Williams is in. I'm like, I'm going to kind of focus on this guy, or Bears in. It's like, there's a lot of fun guys to watch on the defense. And I'm omitting our top 2 guys or Butler for that matter too, who's probably, it's weird, dude. It's weird.
Well, it's a continuation of a year ago. Because we kind of had that,
but it
was really weird a year ago.
But the beginning of the year, it's like, we don't have any pass rushers. We don't even know how the 3-3-5 is going to do in the Big Ten at stopping anything. And it's like, well, not only is it pretty good at stopping a lot of things, but we're able to substitute a ton of guys. They all seem to know what they're doing. They're contributing, and though we got these seniors back, we're still peppering in these young guys to make sure that we're building, and not just like. We're not peaking, we're building. That's the crazy thing. It's a nice combination, dude.
Well, it kind of
freaking out, dog.
It kind of goes back to Deion's point earlier when we were talking about offense. And Deion's like, who cares about the formation? in some ways, he's right there. Like, think of the defense here.
In Colorado week, I have to keep changing my mind. When
well,
you say Deion, I initially...
Oh, no.
Sorry.
No, Deion, the viewer. And the whole point of, like, a year ago, there was so much emphasis made on 3-3-5. 3-3-5. Can the 3-3-5 do this? The 3-3-5 does nothing for you. It's just an alignment of how you line up. There's hundreds of teams in high school and pro and college that can run a 3-3-5. Yeah. It's not the alignment, it's what you're doing with it. It's how you and then it's execution of Nash Hutmacher in a 3-3-5 can make a defense. Just the way he plays nose tackle and clogs up a middle, he can make a lot of defenses look good. He could be a really good nose tackle in a 4-2 and a 4-3.
Yeah,
the old 5-2 that whatever it is. It's the players and then effort, coaching effort here. The pursuit that we've seen that's irregardless of formation.
It looks like so much fun to be a defender on our defense. It looks like a lot
to tackle
of fun.
Well like this. You don't tackle like this on Saturdays. You've been doing this. You have been doing it all off season. You have been practicing that tackling to be that good in open field. I'm not worried right now.
Well, this will be the game. This will be the game that really tells us.
Sure.
Because open field tackling is mostly like athlete on athlete, right? And there's no question that UTEP was athletically inferior is a strong word, but let's just use it because my vocabulary isn't deep enough. But Colorado's skill players are definitely not inferior in terms of athletic ability. So the tackling will really come under a spotlight for that. I'm not saying we couldn't. We did well last year. We tackled well last year for a while. And the defense got tired because the offense killed us.
Rob says, stop calling them weird. I don't know who. It sounds like a Rob thing. Deion, I think the defense has another gear and intensity to show.
100% agree.
I wonder. And I think the opponent
got
can bring
a ton
that
of
out.
rest. Like, our starters should be really fresh. Like, on offense and defense, they're going to be fresh. Dude, I bet there's not two players on our team last week. I bet the guys that had the most snaps, the top two guys, don't have as many snaps as Hunter. I promise you.
Oh, combined. Yeah. I mean,
combined.
Yeah. Hunter
I think our top play getter on offense, top on defense. It isn't even close to what Hunter played.
Yeah. And that's going to ever it wore on him a year ago.
It's going to wear on him this week.
He's bigger this year than he was a year ago, but he's
more to hit. Just more of him to hit. I can't wait.
Wear him out. That would be the advice. All right. Play 10 here. Trick play. So this is right away when we were watching it live and they threw that. I was like, dude, that's a double throw right away. You can just see how that's a lateral. But watch let's see here. Let me bring it up. Watch Buford, number 3, the safety. He's about the 50-yard line right now. He's the one that doesn't get sucked up.
Yep.
Him staying back on this gives that wide receiver nowhere to throw it to. And that's when again, the pursuit and the hustle happen. So by the way, Micah Bear or Mekhi Bear, a shocker that he's
just
there.
Call him Bear. I think it'd be easier. Just skip it. We only have one bear. It's okay.
Well, polar bear. But watch number 5 here, Bullock, who right here, he's at the 38 and he just runs this dude over.
Oh, he does.
He just takes that.
Oh,
he runs him over and then also takes number 4. So he takes
equation.
He takes 2 blockers out of the equation so that Bear can just go in there and make the tackle, right? But you've got Butler, the defensive ends, right out there.
That's what I'm saying. How fun does that look? These guys are flying around and just smacking people around. I was so pleased with the physicality of this game. Again, there's been a shift in this team. This defense is playing very confidently. That one little horseplay score they got on us, that didn't rattle anybody. They totally took care of business. They got 2 of those points back. They're ready to go, man. I'm sure of it.
Well, you're not the only one thinking this. Corners says, I'm with Matt, red shirt. It kind of feels like an episode of The Twilight Zone. The more you watch the film, the better it looks. I'm impressed.
Yeah, it's weird, right? It's like, I know. Oh, that's what Rob's talking about. I keep saying weird.
Matt white shirt thinks that too. But
oh, Rob is on fire tonight. Love the new hat. Is Rob giving himself compliments in the chat?
Rob's talking to himself here. So,
jeez, hey, I met this guy Rob. He looked just like me. He said I was the best Rob ever, and I said, no, Rob, you are. We're so Rob. What are you talking about, dude?
You said let's end it with this. This is a play 11 defense, and you just said the physical play. I can't think of a better one to end it. I just call this one ouch. And
I like the
again,
sounds of
context of this. Think of the long mesh. There's the long mesh, and Ty Robinson just doesn't care.
I don't care about your mesh.
He eyes the quarterback, and he's just going to destroy the quarterback, and he does.
He was going to do that
no matter
if he
what.
handed the ball off. He did not care. It was time to eat.
Yep, you're going down. Now, what's important also is to understand the context of this play. This is right after a 3rd and long conversion. If you remember, it's the 1 3rd and long that their quarterback scrambled and ran out for. And in the past,
questionable spot
again, but still in the past, what does that do to our defense when we give up a 3rd and long? Then the team, they get down on themselves. I'm talking about 2 years ago and 3 years ago.
Yeah.
They get down on themselves. Now it's a 1st down and they complete another pass and another one. And before you know it, you should have been off the field on 3rd and long, and now you're giving up a touchdown. Not this season, not with Tony White. And on the first play after the guy scrambles for a long one, boom, and then the next play was also tackled for loss. So it ended up being 3rd and forever.
What is the thought process of a play call that leaves him unblocked and then goes, hey, let's long mesh this one? I'm like, are you kidding me?
Oh, it does say Honke and Rob. That's why Rob's saying that.
Oh,
I thought I changed that.
really?
I did change. Oh, I'm on a different laptop. That's why I have 2 different laptops. I changed it on the one. So there we go. Honke and Mac. And
no wonder the viewership was down.
so
I heart you, Rob.
So just wait a second. We brought back
JK.
it's Honke and Mac now, the Mats. But back to the play. Back to the play.
Holy shit, look at the numbers. 900.
2,000. 4,000. Yeah, Ty here crushes the quarterback. It's one of Nebraska's 8 tackle for losses on the day, and again, it created what ended up being another 2nd, 3rd and long on that possession, and then Nebraska does get off the field. So, in general,
in fairness, they all kind of look like a long mesh in slow mo. It might have been a little quicker in real life, but damn.
But it is the fact that they coached them long mesh. I mean, a lot of teams you see quarterbacks that will sit there and they read it as long as they can. It's the fact that when you think of an aggressive call and aggressive coaching, they coach those guys to, if you see that, attack. Don't sit there and wait. Don't get flat-footed and try to think you're going to predict which way the quarterback is going to go with it.
Totally.
Pick a guy and take him out.
Yeah, that was totally like Hulk smash kind of thing. He was like, I love Ty's choice. He's like, I don't even care if he hands the ball off. I can already see penetration. I mean, if he'd have handed the ball off, it would have been fine. They still would have made the play, but he wouldn't have been able to. Rob,
I hate you both. Justin. Wait, so you're both Matt or Rob and Matt? Well, it's Matt's Rhule.
It's Matt's Rhule.
We're both Matts.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Cornersker Corner, he is technically supposed to stay home there to be a read and cut off the QB run. He said, nah.
Yeah. The hell with it. I'm having a good time.
Anthony, if you watch the other angle of that play, I swear you can see Ty's eyes watching where the ball is going there and not just going after the QB. Could be. I mean,
Tony, don't ruin what we just set up there as a
long mesh,
dude.
Long mesh.
Ty was going to eat. That's all there was to it. He left his feet.
So, I don't know, Mac. That was.
I felt good. Oh, Jesus, I felt good.
22 plays, 11 on offense, 11 on defense. Honke and Rob here.
I had to be so damn nitpicky just to pick something shitty out. That was fantastic. I could bottle that up and have a whole season of that kind of shit right there. That was a good game. I don't care about the opponent. I'm just looking at us. We look better. We look pretty damn sharp. I mean, for a freshman to do what the freshman did was crazy. Everybody sees it. Like, Dylan Rhule might be to passing the ball what Tommy Frazier was to running the ball for us at the end of the day. We never had a quarterback run the ball as well as Tommy. We've never had a quarterback that can throw the ball like Dylan.
That's an interesting way of saying it. For number 15, Tommy took an offense that we had been running for years and just elevated to a different sense. We've been a passing offense in one flavor or another ever since Callahan got here, right? I mean, we have acknowledged
the forward pass.
Yes. But there are throws immediately on game one that Rhule threw
It's
that we haven't had other quarterbacks.
same way that Tommy was unusually good at juking people and then running through people and then running past people. It was unusual. Like he was definitely special. Dylan is special the way he delivers the ball. It just is what it is. I'm super thrilled about it. It's fantastic to watch. It's so funny when he was first kind of being bandied about as a recruit, and not as his senior year, but like, hey, did you hear Dominic Raiola's son's a quarterback? I'm like, oh, weird. Should be huge. I don't even get that. He'll probably grow out of it. And then like, hey, he's ranked pretty high. I'm like, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Could be name recognition. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not watching high school sophomores play ball or anything like that. And then he becomes like this top recruit. And I'm like, should I know? Like, should I be watching this? Like, to me, because it was the name Rhule.
Yeah.
The only reason I thought it was being brought to my attention was because of his name, not really understanding that he was such a national prospect. But then, like, he's got a lot of momentum just as a public figure. Outside of Nebraska, you've got Mahomes tweeting about him. Like, that's not just Nebraska creating a narrative out there. Like, look at our guy trying to be like Patrick Mahomes, and as a joke, Mahomes is retweeting stuff that's featuring him. It's crazy.
Yeah.
The kid's really good.
He was the first guy off the bus.
Yeah,
when they were doing the legacy walk.
What a statement!
And I remember thinking,
that's a crazy statement.
He obviously has got the buy-in of the team,
because
there's a part of me that's still in my head thinking, well, he's a freshman. Like, do the Benharts and the Scotts and the Ties and the Nashes, the big linemen, senior guys, are they respecting this freshman kid, or does he have to go through the freshman, kind of old school hazing kind of thing that used to go on or whatever? But it's not that. I mean, like, there's a legitimate respect that they have. I mean, he's leading the team out of the tunnel. He's leading the team out of the bus, and they're following him. And
football players, athletes in general, always respect game more than anything else. If you're putting your work in and you've got game, it's easy in that regard. It's easy to win favor. And he has game. It was the same with Frazier, but it took Frazier 6 games. But Frazier was not like number one teammate.
And Frazier wasn't liked always either.
But he's like, but guess what, guys? We're gonna win.
I'm gonna take you places that you guys weren't able to get to without me.
Right.
And that was Frazier's mentality there from the start.
Dylan's not near that brash, but I mean, there's lots of different ways to be a leader. That's fine. Yeah. Play is important though.
But it's different. Like, when we were looking at the stats and we had that successful of an offensive game, very balanced attack, over 500 yards, the 40 points and everything, when you're taking your starters out halfway through the third quarter, all of that, and yet our starting and a good running game, but our starting quarterback had -6 rushing yards.
Negative.
Yeah. And so we were asking when was the last time that happened in a win when he had negative yards. Actually, it was the Iowa game when Thompson threw all those yards to Palmer. That was
he's negative yards rushing.
Thompson had negative yards rushing in that one. So that was the last time that
Son of a bitch. Yeah. I thought that was going to be a way better. That's all right though.
Yeah, but that's, and I'm sure Tanner Lee, we won a game or two, and I'm sure Lee wasn't running for a whole lot. So, but we didn't win a game or two.
Yeah, it's whatever. But shit, I totally lost my train of thought. Continue.
No, it just it looks a little different. But I even think with the running game, we tweeted at one point on Saturday that 2 things can be true at one time. That this could be a really good running offense this year. I mean, we could have a real good rush offense, better than last year stat wise. But it's going to look different. We don't have a running quarterback to do it like we did a year ago. And also we can do it without necessarily a bell cow. I don't know that we have a bell cow. I think the closest guy we have that maybe could be a bell cow by the end of the year could be Dowdell. I think. And there's a lot between now and then. The guys can develop and things can change and everything. But just based off of one game of evidence, I would say we don't have a bell cow today. That doesn't mean we're not going to have one on October 1st. It doesn't mean that we're not going to have one on November 1st. I know that Rhule develops teams, and this team is going to look different in a month and 2 months. And so I like where they are right now, the growth from right now at this moment.
I really, really love the fact that we got so many backups in. I love that we sat the starters by the late end of the third quarter. But I really liked what Rhule had to say about getting all those players in. And it was such a good point because, when you go to practice on Monday morning, you guys are talking about the game. Everybody's talking about the game you just played. And you can say, I was in it. Like, this play. Like, I actually have game experience to relate.
8 players.
Yeah. I got to play that play. This is, do you remember on Saturday night on kickoff when I got it and made this tackle? Like, they all have all the hard work that everybody had to put in, not just the starters, but everybody had to put in, got rewarded a little bit. And that is fantastic for the culture. That does add to the buy-in. That does make everybody work a little bit harder. And the messaging that Rhule said, hey, if you're a great teammate, if you're a good guy, if you really care about the rest of the team, you're going to play your tail off to make sure these guys who have worked as hard as you get into play. That's a crazy good message that he's sending them.
One of my favorite plays, and I mean, we were talking about right when it happened on Saturday, Mac. We were watching it together. But one of my favorite plays was the Carter Nelson catch, where he was so patient and like allowed Jamal Banks to make the block instead of just catching it and running it right into a tackle, right? Like,
because he was so excited, or something, like a freshman, another freshman.
He was patient, allowed the thing to open up. What I like about that with Carter Nelson was Nelson maybe doesn't get on the field that way if we're in a tight game.
Right.
Nelson gets on the field early in the game in special teams.
Right.
In fact, if you follow his dad on Twitter, he's videotaping the very first play that his son plays for the Huskers, which imagine the pride in your heart. Your son's out there for the first play.
Yeah.
And what is it? It's a kickoff return.
Yeah.
Because that's how Carter's going to get on the field, at least right now. Day one, he's going to get on the field in special teams, and then maybe in some of this mop-up duty, maybe a little bit of they have a specific package for him, but he's mostly going to be special teams right now.
Yeah.
I didn't say he's going to be special teams on October 1st,
right? Well,
or November 1st. We don't know. There's going to be
miles
development. There's going to be things happening. So
did you see is it Jalen Gramstead?
The third string.
He got in there, and they interviewed him a little bit after, but he had a lot of family at this game, and
we saw them before the game.
How cool for him! He got in the first game he could have possibly got in. He got in to play. I'm like, dream come true for that guy. That would, even the most optimistic Husker fan going into UTEP didn't predict that unless somebody got hurt. Like, he was going to get in. That's awesome. And man, it's been so long since we've seen that kind of bench clearing. That how satisfying, how super satisfying,
and how satisfying for the fans.
You guys earned it. We all did.
It's the first time in 5 years that we started the season at home. We didn't play a Power 5 team right out of the gates for the first time since 2019. We go 1-0. Colorado goes 1-0. It creates a huge game, a frenzy game. Brett Ciancia, Pick Six Previews, our good buddy. He tweeted out today he's going to be in Lincoln this weekend.
That's a good choice.
There's good games all around. Trust me. I mean, Michigan, Texas, and everything, but we don't take a backseat to anything here. Colorado at Nebraska. Deion against Rhule here in year two 1-0 teams. Night game, Memorial Stadium, NBC, national TV. These are the games you want to play in.
It's going to be
and this is exciting. I mean, I couldn't be more pumped right now for this game. And I'll say it like Rob and I did a night before show on last Friday night, and one of the comments was, you guys anxious. And I was like, maybe I'm not comprehending what anxious means, but I'm not nervous. I'm not anything. We need to go out against an inferior opponent. We need to beat them up.
I am.
That was a week ago. UTEP. We need to beat up an inferior opponent this week against Colorado. We should be far better than them on both sides of the line of scrimmage. In both sides of the line, the O line, the D line, we should dominate the line of scrimmage against these guys. And so we should be able to run the football against them. And you had North Dakota State go out and have like 20 some minutes of time of possession in the first half alone against Colorado. We had almost 40 minutes of possession total against UTEP. Keep the ball away from them, beat them up. When Hunter's on the field on defense, every single play he's on the field on defense, he should be getting hit.
Oh yeah,
we did that a year ago to him. So this isn't a new idea.
No,
beat him up. If you want to slow him on offense, you beat him up on defense.
Yeah.
When you can do it legally on every single play. And then you play keep away as much as you can, but also we got 8 sacks on those guys last year. They're probably better on the O line. I would hope than that.
I don't care.
But we're going to be better too. And we just saw it from Kai Wallen and James Williams to Leonard and Butler and Princewell, and you can go down the list.
There's a big part of me that thinks this game doesn't even really have to be that close. There's a big part of me. I feel like they've got their hands full. When I worry about Colorado, I worry about a quarterback and 2 wide receivers. I don't worry about the running game at all. And that's it, man.
And if we're worrying about the running game, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. This is a team we need to make one-dimensional, and I say that
They'll do it themselves.
I say it a little tongue-in-cheek.
Mm-hmm.
We need to make them one-dimensional because you definitely don't need to be worrying about their run game. They had a 3rd and 1 last week against North Dakota State and went for it right up the gut twice against North Dakota State and couldn't get it.
Yeah,
4 downs and out. Right? Look, they've got some real good speed on the outside. No one's denying that. They have an elite level quarterback. It'll be fun to watch a quarterback back and forth between Dylan and Shedeur.
It'll also be fun to end the hype train that started a year ago, because that's what we're going to do. When the game's over and we've kind of abused them, I think that should do it. You're welcome.
We won't be the first one to blow them out. I mean, the week after we lost to them last year,
I know, but people expected
2 weeks later they lost to Oregon, and look, Nebraska. I like what this team is. I like what this team is.
They got a lot to stop. They have a hell of a lot more to stop on offense than we do. Like a hell of a lot more to stop.
Yeah.
And our defense have shown to be a hell of a lot stiffer than theirs. I'm
sorry.
Absolutely. We would have beat them last year without our turnover issues, or at least we were trending to do that. It certainly wouldn't have been a blowout. What about the UTEP game makes you more nervous about the Colorado game? Nothing. And what about the Colorado game versus North Dakota State makes you more worried about Colorado? I mean, Travis Hunter's really good. I knew that. Shedeur's really good. I already knew that. Like, I just
the way we played them last year, minus the stupid turnovers. I'm telling you, we played them in the physical nature. You go back and watch our shows prior to that game last year, and we talked about the need to beat up Hunter, and they did it. They were out there beating him up.
They should be. I think our boys are chomping at the bit to get a piece of these guys.
Corner, I'm with you, Mac. Big part of me thinks it won't be close at all. I'm all for that.
I'm just going to go into the game that way. Why not? I mean, it's fine. It's fine. I've been hurt before, but I won't be hurt this time.
Mac, parting shots, buddy. What do you got?
Parting shots. Well, I took the weekend off. Well, I didn't take the weekend off, but I took the game off.
Yeah.
And I plan on being part of the problem this weekend. I plan on having a great time. I plan on watching some young folks get to enjoy downtown Lincoln after a victory against a hated opponent for the first time in a long time, when their team might actually be really good, or well, even just good. But you know what I'm saying? Like that is so exciting to me. I hope the fans go out there and just tear it up at Memorial Stadium, making it so hard. These guys have no idea.
Thunderstruck night game.
Hope it's a drone show. The light. I want to see it all. It's going to be a big recruiting weekend. We can put our best foot forward. These are the games. These are the type of games that you can lose it, whatever, and you can still go on to have a good year in the Big Ten. I get that, whatever. But Husker fans are waiting for this game to be allowed to say, I'm totally in, or I told you so, we're not quite there yet. This is the deciding game for so many fans. For those independent voters, this is the sway game. This is the issue that gets them to be fully on board on this team. And there's already a lot of hype. People are tipping that way anyway. They just want to dive in head first. You win this game, a game that you really are set up to win, or should be 100% confident that you can be competitive this whole game and take it to them. When you're spotlighted, in the past, we've always lost these games. It's always been a heartbreaker. When I say always, I'm saying within recent history, right? Mm-hmm. Dude, this is the time we actually get to do that, or we could do it. It'll change the face of Lincoln. It'll change the program. It'll change national perception. It'll change recruiting. It'll change all of that. I'm not saying it ruins everything if we lose it, but you remember how you felt? Sorry. You remember how you felt when they scored on that hurry-up touchdown and then we fumbled? You remember how you felt for that little bit? It was like, damn it, I was so excited. I thought everything was better. And then they kind of crept along and like, okay, we're better than I thought. That's what I'm talking about. Just that little fear that we all have in our hearts that it's not true yet. But I think it's true. I'm going into it true.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a tough place to play this weekend. I think the Memorial Stadium is going to be rocking. It's going to be loud. It's going to look great on TV. It's going to.
If the team gives the fans something to cheer for early in the game.
The last time that Brett Cianci was here, the only other time it was the Oklahoma game, Mac. You and I went to that game. And Brett talked about the pregame of that. And that was a morning game, not a night game. That was a morning game. And he said, that's as good of an environment as I've been in college football. And then we scored that one touchdown early in the game. And the crowd was crazy. And he goes, that's as loud as I've been in any game that I've been in. And he said all that.
That'll be a whisper compared to what it would be.
And then we let Gabriel run for 50 yards and they score. And then next thing you know, you're down by 4 touchdowns for a half. That ain't happening this weekend, number one. But also, Memorial Stadium isn't the problem. Has never been the problem.
No.
We have the opportunity. This could be a huge game for the young fans that get to come to that first one. Your kids, when this weekend, when they came in, they're like, yeah, what's the score? And we're like, we're blowing them out. And they're like,
this could be one of those games like
really?
like a 15-year-old kid sees.
You take your kid to this game. The environment, like this is one of those memorable moments. Go out there, beat these guys up, get a big win there, and take it into week 3 and then just keep getting better from it.
Bro, if we win this game in a nice fashion, people are going to blow the doors off the whole 8 wins the ceiling bullshit. This is the game that's kept everybody from saying 9-10 wins. I'm telling you.
Quit discounting our defense 30-13 black shirts. I don't know if that's towards us. We're not discounting anything. So we're right there with you, conservative Husker.
Oh, no, I think that was probably too.
Yeah. That's the one tough thing about doing these live shows here and then like trying to like read through the comments. Sometimes I'm like, I can't tell if they commenting on something we said or
It says 37-28. Oh, I'm sorry. I read it wrong. 37-28 Nebraska.
Yeah.
Why don't you engage for a second?
Well, we're in party shots, Matt. So.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, hell.
It's been a long show. So, anyways, Mac, do you have any predictions?
Pain, Clubber Lane style. I think we're going to take it to these guys. I think it's going to get it'll be fast paced at first, but I think our offense will settle down and we'll just start body blowing them, and then we'll blow the roof off later on.
What do you think score?
38-14.
38-14?
Yeah.
All right. I'll go in the 30s. I think we'll be 35 or so, and I'll hold them to 17. 35-17, right? Huskers. I think they're going to come out.
We'll get a pick.
Get a pick?
I think we win the turnover battle.
There you go. All right. Redcasters.
Namaste.
Thank you so much for following along here. Hour and a half on a Tuesday night. Really appreciate it. We've had a great audience. We've had a lot of comments there. Appreciate all that you do. Until then, Matt's Rhule.
A Herd at Sports Network production.